You know those workout memes? The ones that show a before photo and an after photo, and the only thing that's actually changed is the person's hair color? That's me. This behind me is my Peloton bike. I got it last January, we fell in love, I rode it every damn day, and I lost 15 pounds off of it. And then I gained it all back. Now, I really wanted this to be a 6-month Peloton transformation video, because Lord knows I would have got 10 times more views as this video. But then lockdown happened and I was way more interested in eating every single goddamn snack in my cupboard than hopping on that Peloton bike. Get ready, because this is a triumphant story of how I lost weight on a Peloton bike and then gained it all back. Stay tuned. Okay, just finished a 30-minute low-impact ride with Kendall on Peloton. It is one day before it marks 2 weeks that I've been doing this, and so far so good. When I was in elementary school, I was always the chubby, non-athletic, artsy kid, and my mom always told me that it was just baby fat. It's just baby fat, Anak. It turned out she was right, and as soon as I hit puberty, all of that weight sort of just slid off my body. In middle school and high school, I maintained a pretty lean physique despite the fact that I did 0 exercise other than PE class, and God, I hated PE class. I also played Dance Dance Revolution at the local arcade every single day after school, so maybe that's part of the reason I stayed lean. My weight for the most part stayed the same up until I turned 21, and that's when things started to fluctuate. I quickly learned that my teenage diet of fast food, more fast food, more fast food, and even more fast food started to hit me a little bit differently. I gained a ton of weight, and to make matters worse, I had just turned 21 and all I did was shot. And you know, well, all of those Taco Bell and In-N-Out burger runs late at night after the bar, those didn't really help the situation either. Towards my mid-20s, I decided that enough was enough. I had put on a bunch of weight and I decided to join a boxing gym. I joined a gym, got lean, and at the time I was in the best shape of my life. Things were going great until a freak boxing accident landed me in the ICU, and when I got out of the hospital, I was told I was no longer able to box. This was obviously a huge blow for me, and months after being out of the hospital, I had absolutely zero motivation to get back to working out, exercising, training, or eating healthy. I was pretty depressed, so the weight came back. As my 20s came to a close, I discovered the beautiful art of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I joined a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu academy, and guess what? After a few months, I started to drop the weight again. I was training almost daily, I ended up getting my blue belt. I fell in love with Jiu-Jitsu. Just weighed myself with the gi on. It's Monday, 7 days until the Long Beach Open, or 6 days. And I'm 159.2 and I have to be 154.5. But then my career started requiring more time, which meant less time at the gym. I got insanely busy, and you know what happens when you don't have any time to exercise. So now it's the year 2019, and career-wise, I probably had the best financial year of my life. I was traveling non-stop, I was way overworked, and because of this, my health took a back seat. In December of 2019, I decided to take a vacation with friends to Thailand. We had a great time, but then I got home and I looked at some of the photos, and
damn, girl.
I got home and I weighed myself, and I was the heaviest I'd ever been in my entire life. I was a fucking garbage. I was eating like a fucking garbage can.
I was a garbage can.
I was 192 pounds. To put things in perspective, just 1 year earlier in 2018 when I competed in Jiu-Jitsu, I was 155 pounds. So in the span of just 1 year, I had gained nearly 40 pounds. Okay, you ready?
Yes.
Enter the Christmas season.
A Peloton?
And that ever so viral Peloton commercial.
It's the commercial for a trendy exercise bike that is head spinning.
Now you can say I became a victim of Peloton's marketing tactics, but after watching that viral video, I dove straight into researching more. about what this Peloton bike was all about. I had tried spin classes several years ago, and I did remember how hard those classes were and how much I sweat, but something about an instructor telling me what to do through a screen and not being in a live class setting didn't really sit right with me. Like, would I really be motivated to jump on this bike on the daily? Regardless, I was too lazy to get my ass to a real gym, and Peloton offered a 30-day money-back satisfaction guarantee, so I said f it this past January and I placed my order. The package that I got came with free delivery and a pair of shoes, and in total cost $2,400. In order to start riding the bike, you do have to pay a monthly subscription fee, which is $39. It's month to month and you can cancel at any time. If you total the two together, after about a year of use, you're paying about $239 a month, which, let's be real, is really steep. But the pro is that you have something accessible on your schedule anytime you feel like training. And that was one of the most important factors to me. Now with your Peloton, you have access to a variety of different class options. You can either take an on-demand class from their giant library of classes, or you can take a live class, which are offered all throughout the day. For my first class, I decided to take a 20-minute live feel-good class, and goddamn, that class kicked my fucking ass. I was sweating like I had never sweat before, and at the end of that 20 minutes, I felt the best I had felt in a very long time. My heart was racing, there was sweat all over the place, and I had fun. Needless to say, I fell deeply in love with this new Peloton bike and continued to ride almost daily. Each of the Peloton instructors are amazing, and believe it or not, even when talking through a screen, they just so happen to say all of the right words at the right time, leaving you motivated and inspired to take on the day. As you continue to ride, you'll get to know each of the instructors' teaching style and their taste in music, and you'll start picking your classes according to your favorite instructors. Shout out Kendall, shout out Ben Aldis. I stayed consistent on my Peloton bike for a few months. As you can see here, in April I rode nearly every single day. In the first few months of riding the bike, I shed a ton of weight. I started back in January at 192 pounds, and by the end of April I was 177 pounds. That's 15 pounds within the first few months. Obviously, everyone's results will vary, and diet also plays a massive role in the type of results that you're going to see. My diet personally was pretty average. I tried to eat lean meats, proteins, and greens, but I did always end the day with a nice, tasty, ice-cold beer, and I was never really that strict on my diet. The first few months were honestly amazing, and I don't know if I was just drinking the Peloton Kool-Aid or not, but I became one of those people that was like,
You gotta get this bike. You gotta buy the Peloton, it will change your life. I highly recommend it.
I was telling people left and right that this bike had changed my life, and for good reason, because it did change my life. I loved the classes, I loved the instructors, I loved the music, I loved how good I was feeling. I was beating personal records almost every single day. I loved this thing, and I still do. But sadly, as the quarantine months went on, I started to lose a bit of motivation. I was really anxious about what was going on in the world, about work stuff. So instead of getting on the bike, I started to eat my problems away, because who didn't during quarantine? I mean, that quarantine 15 really was a thing. Live classes at that point in quarantine also were no longer a thing due to the pandemic and the instructors not being able to go to the studio. So there was just literally no motivation for me to get back on the bike because the live classes were my thing. It was like I was out of that honeymoon phase, and things just weren't exciting anymore. You can see here that I went from riding almost every single day in April to May, where I only rode like a couple times a week, if that. And then June is almost non-existent. It just got worse from there, and I just stopped riding altogether. And because this has already happened a couple times in this story, you know what happened next. The difference this time, though, is that I'm not really down on myself for gaining the weight back. I'm actually now just celebrating it. I'm celebrating the process that it takes to get to where I want to be physically. health-wise. And after having gone through this several times in my life, I'm celebrating the fact that in order to get anywhere, you're going to have to fail. You're going to have to take breaks for yourself. You're going to have to gain a few pounds. You're going to have to face adversity. And you're just going to have to learn to deal with that. My weight fluctuation has always been a struggle throughout my life. And for once in my life, it feels good to take a step back and look at all of the wins. Learning how to box, getting my blue belt in jiu-jitsu, beating personal records on the Peloton. I had originally planned for this video to be an epic 6-month Peloton transformation video where I'd show you a before picture and show you an after picture, and in the after picture I'd look like a ripped Filipino Zac Efron with my shirt off. But unfortunately shit happens, and that's not what you're getting today. Instead, you're getting a real, honest look at what the last 6 months of owning a Peloton bike has been for me personally. And hopefully this can inspire you, even if it's in the smallest way. Because I wanted to show that things don't always go according to plan, but life is all about navigating the good and the bad and taking this experience and growing and learning from it and just moving forward. I still love my Peloton to death. If you're thinking about getting one, I highly recommend it. The level of instruction on this thing is just second to none. You really start to build relationships with your instructors, even though they're on the other side of a screen and sometimes in another part of the world, but it's a lot of fun. So, I lost weight on my Peloton bike, and I gained it all back. What's next? Well, I've been back on the bike consistently over the past 2 weeks. After a 2-month layoff on the bike, my starting weight was at 187. After the last 2 weeks of eating pretty clean and being on the bike, today I am at 182, so that's about 5 pounds already. I just hit my personal record on a 20-minute hit ride. My goal is to hit 165 by October. I'm feeling good, I'm feeling motivated. So if you want to follow along on this journey, like and subscribe.